to reconvene into open session. Motion by Mrs. Monalito, seconded by Mr. Tomio. Those in favor? 5-0. Having taken care of that, the approval of minutes of previous meetings, given we had full attendance at both of those sessions. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of both the business meeting for May 18th and the special meeting working session June 1st? Motion by Mrs. Freed, seconded by Mrs. Mamalito. Questions or comments? Seeing none, those in favor? 5-0. Having taken care of that business item, I'll now turn the agenda over to Dr. Bosser to walk us through commendation.
I'm extremely flustered. There's too many people in the room. We're not used to such a large crowd. Thank you all for coming this evening. This is a very unique board meeting. It's a wonderful way to celebrate what has been an extremely successful year in the Elwood School District. Hopefully you've experienced that from your perspective as a staff member or a community member or a loved one of someone to be recognized tonight. We have the great fortune of having a large number of staff members to be recognized tonight for either being a recent recipient of tenure, for being a retiree leaving our flock, and we'll also be recognizing those individuals with 25 years of service in the Elwood School District, which means I was only 5 years old when they began their careers there in Elwood. So we're going to try to abide by the agenda the way it's printed and recognize first some administrative candidates who were tenured either at the most recent board meeting or one earlier in the year. So it is my pleasure to start the proceedings by recognizing the Assistant Superintendent for Business, Ms. Carrie Lockman, who was tenured at a meeting earlier this fall by the Board of Education. Carrie's actually engaged in her fourth year with the district, but in that time, she has brought very strong leadership. She has helped this community to realize a far more stable financial position than when she arrived. I think a good portion of her efforts were evidenced by the fact that there was over 82% support for the most recent budget that she assisted the board and myself in developing. And I think Carrie is held in very high regard and is certainly one of the most active school business officials that I have ever worked with, as she is readily engaged in so many aspects of our district. So, Carrie, we cannot thank you enough for your efforts, and congratulations on your tenure. To present our next two tenure recipients, I would like to call upon our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction, Mrs. Hull. Sure.
Good evening. I would like to introduce to you Mrs. Alyssa Milan. I will be safe, polite, helpful, kind, respectful, and responsible. Anyone at Harley can recognize those words because these are the words of the Harley Pledge that our students at Harley recite every day. This evening, I would like to recite some words that describe Mrs. Milan, our principal at Harley. Energetic, caring, passionate, sincere, funny, supportive, and innovative. In these past 3 years, Mrs. Milan has had a substantial impact on the culture and programs at Harley Avenue School, the effects of which are evident in the smiles of our students and teachers who are happy to come to school each day and are measurably present through the tremendous improvement in student achievement. Her content expertise has led to improvements not only in the instructional program at Harley, but have also influenced our other buildings. Mrs. Milan inspires her faculty and staff to bring their personal best for our students each day through her own commitment and enthusiasm for providing a safe, welcoming, and dynamic environment. In fact, her work has been cited by national leaders. I am really looking forward to her continued contributions at Harley, which is a very special place in very large part to her leadership. Congratulations on your time. Next, I would like to introduce Dr. Denise Toscano. The principal is the heart of the school, and I can certainly say that Dr. Toscano leads from the heart. She has promoted understanding and acceptance among students, staff, and now across the district through the Cultural Competency Committee. Anyone who steps into Boyd knows Dr. Toscano, who loves her students and staff. Through dynamic leadership, she has supported the growth of new programs, and everyone is encouraged to strive for excellence every day. Dr. Toscano has supported the growth of literacy, which she models through her own activities, such as reading student writing on a weekly basis. She has a love of literature that resonates with students, teachers, staff, and parents. As a parent said at a recent board meeting, everyone knows Dr. Toscano loves books. Dr. Toscano connects Boyd and the Elwood School District with a larger community of elected officials and community members through her professional affiliations, and she promotes innovation for faculty not only in her own building, but across the district through professional growth. I am looking forward to her continued impact on the programs of Boyd and for the Elwood School District, and congratulations on you.
To discuss our next recently tenured administrator, I'd like to call upon our middle school principal, Dr. Duganti. Ms. Valley, would you please come up?
So one of the key roles to making a principal successful is the staff and people that surround that person. I've been lucky enough to be able to work with Ms. Valley for the past 3 years. Prior to accepting a position as assistant principal in Elwood, Ms. Valley was a successful sitting principal at a high-performing math and science exploratory school in Brooklyn, New York. In her 3 years as the assistant principal here, Dawn has worked tirelessly to increase the depth and rigor of many of the courses that are offered at the middle school. She has no problems challenging the status quo if it is in the best interest of the student achieving the success. She has no challenge. She has no problems challenging me. She has no problem challenging me. But it's a good thing, because you need that to grow a building. Miss Valley has a true understanding of what a leadership role in a school building is, and I have had the privilege of collaborating with her for 3 years. I know that she will continue to strive and make the middle school the best place possible for the students of Elwood. So Dawn, congratulations on your tenure.
And the reason why we asked our administrators to be recognized first is because now we're going to put them immediately to work. So to recognize some teachers who were recently recommended for tenure, I'd like to first call upon our Harley Avenue principal, Mrs. Malone.
Sorry, a little bit short of Dr. G. It is with great pleasure that I ask Maura to join me up here. Maura Sitko is our school psychologist. We started in Elwood the same year, a new principal and new school psychologist to the district. It didn't take long for me to see how valuable Maura would be to me and to Harley Avenue. She has an excellent skill set and not only supports me, but all of the students, staff, and parents at Harley Avenue. Maura is my right-hand woman, and I can count on her for anything and everything. It is with great pleasure that I congratulate Maura on her tenure. Shanna LaBarbara. Shanna LaBarbara has been a teacher for 7 years. She taught for 2 years in a private school, 2 years in a New York City public school, and 3 years at Harley Avenue. I have had the pleasure of knowing Shanna for the past 5 years. I was her direct supervisor at PS 139 and was thrilled for her to join us at Harley Avenue. She has a strong literacy background and has high expectations for our youngest learners. She was essential in supporting the kindergarten team in transforming their teaching to the TC units of study and full-day kindergarten. Shanna is very organized, creative, and dedicated. She is a progressive educator who has a way of making learning fun for all of her students. At this time, I would like to congratulate Shanna on her tenure. Danielle Sullivan. Although this is only Danielle Sullivan's second year in Elwood, she was a tenured New York City public school teacher. She taught English language learners for 4 years in a K-5 school with over 200 Ls prior to joining the Elwood staff. I also have had the pleasure of knowing Danielle since the start of her teaching career. I was her direct supervisor at PS 139 and couldn't wait for her to join the Harley team. She has a strong literacy background and supports our youngest English language learners and her colleagues. Danielle is an excellent co-teacher and served as a mentor to 3 teachers in Elwood. She has excellent organizational skills and she puts to use setting up systems and structures for all E&L paperwork at Harley and in the district. It is with great pleasure that I congratulate Danielle on her tenure.
To recognize our tenure candidates from Boyd Elementary, I'd like to call upon Dr. Piscani.
Lisa Rosenthal, please come forward. Although she's receiving tenure tonight for her third year as a teacher, Ms. Rosenthal really started here 9 years ago as a teacher assistant. And when I came to Elwood, she was my first real hire by myself. She has served as a teacher assistant and a special education classroom teacher. She has such a strong ABA background and has high expectations for all of her students. She's built an individual program for each of her students, and they have shown amazing growth over the past 3 years. Ms. Rosenthal understands that teaching is hard work, but more importantly, she understands it takes hard work. I would like to congratulate Ms. Rosenthal on her tenure. We are lucky to have a teacher of her caliber in the Elwood schools.
For our tenure candidates from the middle school, Dr. DeGan. It's okay.
So the middle school has 4 tenured teacher candidates tonight. I promised the first one that I call her first because she was so nervous about the night that she didn't want to be called last. So Jessica has a please come on. So Jessica started in our building as a grade 6 teacher, but her role quickly expanded to include teaching all 3 grade levels in mathematics. Jessica's love of teaching can be seen in her interaction with students every day, and the passion that she brings to into her classroom, as well as the hallways. And you walk around the front hallways, most of that work is done by Jessica and her students. Jessica works hard every day to create a welcoming and supportive atmosphere for her students, and this can be seen every time you walk around this building. I am confident that Jessica will continue to be a tremendous asset to the Elwood community for many, many years to come. So with this, I'd like to congratulate you on your tenure.
Can you really get them?
Miss Megan Riley, please come down. Miss Riley is a special education teacher at Elwood Middle School. More importantly, Miss Riley is a special education math teacher at Elwood Middle School. She has a passion for teaching and a way in which she teaches math, which connects with students who find it difficult, to say the least. Megan is extremely active in all the building activities and is always willing to lend a hand. She has made connections with students in the language of math, a subject that can be very, very difficult. I am confident that she will continue to make those connections in the many years to come that she works here in this district. So Megan, congratulations on your tenure. Ms. Jen Vecchio, please come up. Jen Vecchio is a teacher of Spanish at Elwood Middle School. 3 years ago, she was hired to fill some very big shoes left by Ms. Hall. She has done that and then some. Ms. Vecchio has worked closely with her fellow foreign language teachers to provide all of our students with experiences that focus on cultural awareness and respect. Jen has extremely high expectations for her students, and they have proven to be up to the challenge. She also coaches various sports, and she is a true asset to the building. As with the other tenure recipients tonight, I am confident that she will continue to thrive here at Elwood Middle School. And with that, I'd like to congratulate you on your tenure. Ms. Brzezinski, would you like to please come? Our last tenure teacher appointment is actually a combination teacher between the middle school and the high school. So, Ms. Seema Lees, you would please come up. Seema Lees teaches special education classes at both Elwood Middle School and John Webb High School. Seema makes connections with students through her love of science. Seema's classroom is one of caring and respect, not only for each other, but for the animal kingdom that she's created. Turtles, sugar gliders, hedgehogs, rabbits, you name it, it's been in our classroom.
Seema has created invaluable connections for her students, and I am confident that she will continue to do so for many years to come. Seema, it is our pleasure to award you tenure or congratulate you for your tenure this evening. Congratulations.
The middle school also has two tenure recommendations for teacher assistants. The first is Maria Gagliardi, who could not be here tonight. Maria has spent her time in the middle school doing a variety of different things. She is a constant professional. She will jump in the classroom when needed. She will work in special education classrooms, tech classrooms, art classrooms. She's really the jack of all trades, and she's invaluable to the district. She receives tenure tonight, although she's not here. Ms. Kelsey Wilkinson, please come down. Kelsey Wilkinson currently serves as a teacher assistant in our building, specifically with our special education students. Kelsey has all the qualities that one looks for when selecting adults to work in a middle school building. She is kind, caring, is willing to go the extra mile, and is a positive role model for her students. I am confident that Kelsey's role in our building is only the foundation for a very bright career in her aspirational career as a guidance counselor. So Kelsey, please accept my congratulations to you tonight.
The next set of honorees that we'd like to recognize are those who will be leaving the Elwood family at the conclusion of the school year or shortly thereafter. And it's actually my pleasure to present the first retiree, who will be with us for a bit longer. But Mrs. Barcosi, would you come up for recognition, please? For those of you that do not know Mrs. Barcosi, where have you been? Nancy has the unfortunate task this year of serving as the superintendent's secretary, a position that she has held for some time. And by the time she leaves us at the end of October, she will have served this community for 20 years, which is obviously admirable. I can tell you from my firsthand experience working with Nancy so closely this past year, that no one cares more about the positive benefits of this community and the experiences our students have. She lends her support, her guidance, and without her, I don't think I could have, or any of my predecessors could have found any level of success in the superintendent's office without her guidance and support. And I thank you for that, and I thank you for your 20 years of service to the community. We have plaques. The irony is Nancy had to order all of these things. For our next retiree, I'd like to welcome Dr. Scott back on the podium.
Mrs. Milan, take them up. On behalf of Mrs. Milan and myself, it's bittersweet saying goodbye to Mr. Heiss. There is not a student in this district who has not been touched by his inspiration. His hands-on lessons and excitement for his subject matter transcends to the students. He is the first person to assist in organizing any district-wide art show to showcase student work. He's a member of the Coconuts Band, has volunteered to play at many district-wide events. One of his recent projects in particular involves paintings of famous picture books to cover the walls of the building and promote a love of literacy. Dave has performed outstanding service to the students and the community of the Elwood School District. We will miss him terribly. David, I wish you, as Alyssa wishes you, all the best in your next chapter in your life, your retirement with Janet. I'd like to invite a very special lady, Miss Marsha Zaltoskas. So Marsha began as a substitute and then became a teacher. All in total, she has worked here for 35 years. Not only that, but she is an Elwood legacy. Her mother also taught at Boyd before her. And in our staff room, there is a painting dedicated to her mother from the staff when she retired.
I'm wearing her retirement earrings.
Aww. She is an excellent teacher that allows children to enjoy learning through various creative projects. You can observe Marsha's class at any time of the day, and the children are happily and actively learning all over the room. Marsha has performed outstanding service to the students and the community of the Elwood School District. We will miss her. We wish her much happiness in her next chapter with Bill and her daughter Emily.
And I'm wearing flats. Thanks, Mom.
We have 2 TAs that are also retiring tonight. Lee Anderson retired in the fall. She was a wonderful, wonderful worker, dedicated to the children. She is now very happy living in Florida with her entire family, so we wish her well. Mrs. Noreen Driscoll. A little pretty in your sparkles. Ms. Driscoll has worked in the Elwood School District for 26 years. She began in the kitchen and then later became a teacher assistant in 2000. Noreen is patient, creative, and a well-skilled teacher assistant. She is known for how much she loves and supports her students. Noreen, thank you for your outstanding service to the Elwood community. We wish you well as you begin your next chapter of life with Robert and those two beautiful grandchildren. One of our kitchen staff is retiring as well, and she couldn't make it tonight. Donna Burton has worked in Boyd for 24 years. Just as in the home, the heart is the kitchen, the same holds true at Boyd. The heart is the home of our building. And for 24 years, she has served the students. She knows every single one of their names, their special requests, children with special needs. She cuts their food up. And she's taken care of me like a daughter for the past 3 years. So I want to wish her all the best in her retirement.
Mrs. Milan, would you please rejoin us?
So tonight, Harley is celebrating 6 individuals, including Dave, who retired during the 2016-17 school year, and combined, they put in 148 years of service to the Elwood School District. So first, I would like to call up Cindy Smith. Cindy Smith worked at Harley Avenue for 30 years as a paraprofessional and teacher assistant. She worked with all grade levels in the school in both general education and special education. She was always willing to help a student or teacher in need. Cindy retires to enjoy time with her family and her 2 grandchildren. Congratulations, Cindy. Next, Anne Gegenbach. Oh, come on, Anne retired after 22 years of working in the Harley Avenue main office. Anne was a major support to me in my first 2.5 years at Harley Avenue. She greeted us all each day with a welcome smile and took care of each staff member, student, and family as if they were her own. Anne enjoys retirement with her husband, who still owes me dinner, children, and grandchildren. Congratulations, Anne. Linda Wilson. Wilson worked as the Harley School nurse for 25 years. She took care of all of the students, staff, and families during this time. Her warmth and compassion made her office the place where everyone wanted to be. Even her snacks, too. Linda also leaves to enjoy retirement with her husband, children, and is now working harder than ever to care for her grandchildren. Congratulations, Linda. So we have two staff members who couldn't be here today who also retired this year. Carol Yamond, who worked for 17 years at Harley as a paraprofessional. She worked closely with the kindergarten staff and students and assisted with arrival and dismissal, bus and cafeteria duties. She retired earlier this year and is now in Ohio to be closer to her family and take care of her grandchildren. Congratulations, Carol. And last is Chris Graber, who retired after 27 years of service as a special education teacher. Chris worked both at Harley and Boyd and had the opportunity to work with students of all ages and grade levels. She retires to enjoy time with her husband and children, traveling and on her ranch in Wyoming. On behalf of myself, as well as the faculty and staff of Harley Avenue and the Elwood School District, I wish these 5 amazing women and Dave health and happiness in their retirement.
Next, I'd like to call upon our high school principal, Ms. Carissa Brzezinski.
Good evening. Tonight, John Glenn High School celebrates 2 individuals who retired during the 2016-17 school year. One could not be with us this evening, Denise Prado. Denise works for 11 years at John Glenn High School as a valued member of the very important food service staff. Her efforts developing the salad menu and serving the very hungry students and staff at John Glenn High School are recognized and greatly appreciated. Denise retired earlier in the school year to help take care of her grandchild, and while she could not be here with us this evening, we know that she is now enjoying spending her days feeding and watching her grandson Joey grow. We wish her all the best in her retirement. And I think I'm partial when I get to do this one. Is this the last retiree? So I feel like I'm saving the best for last. So Sue Mazurek, will you join me? Sue and her husband John have been residents of the Elwood community since the 1970s. Their children, Jonathan and Elizabeth, were both graduates of John Glenn High School. Shortly after her teaching career at Catherine Gibbs, Sue began teaching English at Elwood Middle School in 2000. As a master teacher, she served as the lead teacher for the ELA department, mentored new teachers, and was the National Junior Honor Society co-advisor. Lucky for us, Sue was then transferred to John Glenn High School 4 years ago. Since then, she has been teaching our 9th and 10th grade students grammar, author's purpose, and how to support a claim with textual evidence. In that vein, I've asked my 9th and 10th grade students to help me support my claim that Ms. Sue Mazurek, AKA Maz, is the quintessential professional. Here's what they had to say. Ms. Mazurek is a great teacher and is also very nice. They shared that they loved Wacky Word Mondays and they are truly going to miss her class. We will certainly miss Sue's professionalism, insight, and care for the students at John Glenn, but know that she will enjoy her retirement especially not getting up at 4:45 a.m. And on behalf of myself, as well as the faculty and staff at John Glenn High School and the Elwood School District, I wish you nothing but the best in your retirement. Congratulations. Sue.
The next group of honorees will be those who have served 25 years to the Elwood School community. And to start us off, I would like Mr. Brzezinski to begin that preparation.
25 years of service. Wow, that's pretty remarkable. So I begin with one member of our faculty who could not join us this evening, Miss Jan Fairchild. Jan Fairchild was an East Northport resident at home caring for her 3 children. When she said, "I'm going to go out and find a part-time job," she did just that, and she landed as a food service worker in John Glenn High School in 1991. Over the course of the next 25 years, she served the district in a multitude of critical positions. She was a paraprofessional, an AV para, a clerk for the main office, the backup clerk for the attendance office, and over the summer, the senior clerk typist to the director of athletics, and then in 2012, she moved to the John Glenn High School guidance department. In each of the above-mentioned roles, Jan has consistently served the students, parents, and staff in the utmost professional manner. Her dedication and commitment to the Elwood School District is greatly appreciated. Mr. Mike Marino, will you join me? I don't know a person that has met Mr. Marino that doesn't think he is just the best guy on the planet. Sorry about that. Mr. Marino has been teaching art to the students at John Glenn High School for the past 25 years. In addition to inspiring our students to pursue their love of art, Mr. Marino has also served our students outside of the classroom in a variety of ways. He was the Art Service Club Advisor, the Musical Sets Director, the Sets Advisor, the Art Gallery Co-Director, the Assistant Track Coach, the Junior Varsity Football Coach, the Varsity Wrestling Coach, the Middle School's Track Coach, and the Varsity Assistant Boys Spring Track Coach. Mr. Marino is the kind of man that you want your child to have as a coach, advisor, or teacher. His passion for the arts, his love for students, and his overall kind spirit make him someone you want to have on your team for another 25 years. It is my pleasure to acknowledge Mr. Marino. Thank you.
For our next honoree, I'd like to call upon our Director of Facilities, Ms. McDonald.
Well, thank you and good evening. I have the privilege of honoring tonight our chief custodian over at the John Glenn High School, Tony Gallo. Tony started his career here at Elwood in 1992. He became a custodian working at the Boyd Intermediate School. He was there for 3 years, moved into the maintenance department in 1995. He stayed there for about 10 years, and some of the work he was involved with are still seen today throughout the district. For instance, the publication center at the Boyd Intermediate School, the press box, bleachers on the football field, and over in the district office, many of those offices were assembled by him. In 2005, Tony transferred to Harley Avenue Primary School, where he was the chief custodian there. And subsequent to that, in 2010, he became the chief custodian at Jonathan High School. He's been there for 7 years. He does a wonderful job. I consider him a great asset to the school district, and I really want to congratulate him on behalf of the district and having stayed with us for 25 years, and I hope he stays with us much longer. Thank you.
Again, will you join us once more?
So tonight I have the honor of recognizing two gentlemen from Elwood Middle School that helped guide me through my first years and continue to guide me through my years of principalship here, but have also become very close friends and colleagues. First, I'd like to call Mr. David Bolsey. Mr. Bolsey is a master mathematician who has positively affected so many of our students in Elwood. He has always been a staunch supporter of doing what is right for the children in our building. He has served as an advisor to many club activities. He has worked closely with us both as a teacher, as a union member, as a union officer and president. He has always engaged myself as well as those around me with very, very spirited conversation about what's best for our students. He is an asset to our building, and he has really guided and shaped who we are today. So I want to congratulate him on 25 years of service. I would also like to call up Mr. Darren Coley. Darren and I find the weirdest times to talk because he's always here. Whether it's not here for his children's events, or whether he's here because he's coaching a sport, or he's running a summer program, whether it's 8 o'clock at night or on a Saturday morning, Darren is always here. And that's a true testament to who he is, not only as a community member, but also as a teacher and as a mentor for the students of Elwood Middle School. He currently teaches both physical education and health classes. He's worked with and coached thousands of students in this district. And not only has he coached them, but he's also mentored them. And that's such an important feature in who Darren is. He is an active member of this community, and he's trusted as a leader in our building in so many different capacities. And I know that I appreciate all the work that he's done, and his guidance and his feedback, and just generally being there as a support for the principal position and as a friend. So congratulations, Darren.
Dr. Begin. Before I let you sit down, I would really be remiss if we didn't take a moment. As most of you are aware, Dr. Giganti will be leaving Elwood Middle School after 7 years of dedicated service to accept the position as the Executive Director of Personnel for Western Suffolk OC. We congratulate you on your new position, as we know it's a career aspiration of yours, but we are saddened at your departure because of the profound positive impact you've had on Elwood Middle School over the last 7 years. I can see in your daily interactions with students, staff, faculty, that you're a person who truly cares about the success of every child under your care, every faculty member who requires support, and you are a true leader of this district. You will be missed, and we thank you for your service. To share some kind words about our next honoree, I'd like to call upon our Board Vice President, Mrs. Julia Freed.
Tonight we say goodbye to Mr. Lamena. Since joining the board in 2011 as a trustee and then as board president this year, Mike Lamena has always provided steady, calm direction. He's been, Mike's leadership has provided us leadership hiring a new superintendent. He helped to negotiate many successful contracts. He's navigated budgets in the complex tax cap era, all while keeping commitment to the finest education for our students. Mike has an uncanny ability to succinctly summarize and provide realistic solutions to any issue. He's committed to a focused process, which has proven to unite the board this year and has made for a very successful transition to our new superintendent. What's most astonishing about this is that Mike does all this while commuting to Chicago 3 days a week and coaching soccer. It's understandable that Mike has chosen to retire from the board. His commitment to Michelle and his girls have always been his first priority, with his love for Notre Dame a close second. Mike, we'll miss your calm leadership, but we're grateful for the time you've served on the board. We're all better for it. Thank you, Mike.
One more honoree that I would like to bring to the attention of the community. For the last 5 years, Ms. Nancy Mancini has served as the clerk to the Board of Education. And as per an action that will come later in the board's agenda, tonight will be Nancy's last meeting serving in that capacity. Now, while I did not have the pleasure of working with Nancy for the full 5 years, I can tell you from my experiences with her this year, she is a diligent, hardworking individual who places a great emphasis on making sure that the business of this school district takes place in a professional, expeditious, accurate manner. Nancy, we thank you so much for your services, and we are very happy we will continue to work with you in your capacity in transportation and technology. Thank you so much. And for our last recognition, I'd like to call upon our Executive Director of Technology, Mr. Tranchino.
Thank you. I have here a certificate of appreciation from the Board of Education for Mr. Joseph Pacifico. Joe is a junior, soon to be a senior, at Glenn, and he helps us each month with our Board of Ed webcasts, which are archived on the website for you to replay. And also, he does the budget workshop webcasts with us frequently. So He's dedicated some time, he's volunteered, we do appreciate it. He did make the wise decision this evening of not being here, as he's got his trigonometry regents tomorrow. And I said, I'll shake your hand tomorrow and hand this off to you. So, thanks to Joseph for
Thank you so much, Mr. Tranquillo. And Joseph, if you're watching at home, well, you should be here. We'll see you next meeting, Joe. We will also wait for the reorganizational meeting to honor our student representative of the board, Matthew Weiss. He had another commitment this evening, but Matthew served extremely capably to the board, and we have loved hearing his reports and insights about student body life, and we have invited him to the next board meeting so that we can appropriately recognize him. At this time, however, I would like to talk about his succession. So if I could please call upon our senior student council member, Ms. Kimberly Freed.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Freed. I'm the all-school vice president. I was the all-school vice president of high school this year. I am so lucky to introduce my best friend as the new all-school president.
Hi, my name is Emma Coster. I'm incredibly excited to be reporting on the events, activities, and accomplishments of Elwood student body next year. I hope everyone has a safe, restful, and fun summer, and I look forward to seeing you all in September. Thank you very much.
If I may, Mr. President, just one other item out of order before we take a brief recess. As the community is likely aware, at the last meeting of the Board of Education, the board saw fit to approve a new 5-year memorandum of agreement contract with the Elwood Teachers Association. And I know that there are President Mr. Pushy was unavailable tonight. He came up with some excuse about his mother's retirement party. I'm not sure if that's been validated, but that's where he claims to be. And in his place were 2 other members of the negotiating team, Ms. Lisa Friend and Ms. Linda Scotto, and I believe they have a few short words. This is where you stand up and say thank you as we discuss it. Just my own commentary to all of you, to everyone who is recognized tonight for beginning the next phase of your career, moving on in your career, or moving on from our district. Thank you so much for all your valued contributions in making this school district the very special place that I've learned that it is. And to all of the family members and friends and loved ones that came to join your honorees tonight, thank you for the sacrifices that you've made. We know the time spent in the district. We know that these jobs are not 7-hour, 8-hour day positions. We know that this is work that is brought home. We know that this is work that keeps us up at night. We know this is work that carries on throughout the summer. And we appreciate the sacrifices you have made as family and friends to allow these individuals to soar to such great heights within our district. So thank you to all of you. And to recognize your efforts, one and all, we're going to ask for a very non-traditional timeout intermission in our public board meeting so that we can take a 15-minute recess at the permission of the board to enjoy some coffee and cake that we've prepared in the lobby of the middle school. I will need a motion to have a 15-minute recess.
Motion by Mr. Tucker, second by Mrs. Montalito. Questions or comments? Seeing none, those in favor? 5-0. Can I have a motion to exit our recess and reconvene our business meeting agenda? Motion by Mrs. Mamalito, seconded by Mrs. Weiss. Questions, comments? Those in favor? 5-0 at 8:55. Okay, we'll proceed to board recognition of donations. Mrs. Weiss, if you would be so kind as to review the ample list of donations for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Lamena. Well, tonight we have a large variety of donations and an astounding amount in the amount of over $44,000. Wow. There are donations, the Elwood Scepter for almost $3,000 for the Spring Crafted Kids Club, the Boyd Sport Club, the Friendship Club, the Finals Review, and transport of a van from special ed kids from Boyd to the middle school. We have for the middle school donations almost $4,000 from the middle school PTA to offset the cost of the STEAM event and purchase furniture for the 6th grade common area and picnic tables. I wish I had a 6th grader, that sounds awesome. They also donated $1,200 for the finals Regents Review. From the Booster Club, almost $28,000. Wow. We have, for the Maker Fair, we have money from the middle school reading libraries, almost $7,500 for the AP Capstone program, which is a new program that's going to be at the high school. Very exciting. Almost $12,000 to support the high school robotics program. $3,200 to support the high school music department. We also have donations, $500 for the Maker Fair, which is going to be tomorrow night. And I went to the last one. It's a great event. Finally, we have a donation from private citizens, from Diane and Mitch Cohen, who very generously donated a commercial elliptical, a squat rack, and a dumbbell rack. So an elliptical machine, and that value is almost $4,000. Finally, I just want to mention the Lowe's donation of $5,000 to the Boyd Intermediate School for the If You Can Build It, Then They Will Come project. We happen to have, she's still here, one of the teachers. Is Miss Held still here? Hey, there she is. Okay, I'm just going to read you a little bit about it because this is totally awesome. All right, I don't know how they thought about it. I would never have thought about to go to Lowe's for a grant. So the Lowe's grant was written to create a maker space for James H. Boyd where students can go learn through hands-on activities and building. The mission of the maker space will be to encourage students' curiosity, tinkering, learning, and inspire students to continually question how processes happen, inventions can be improved, and to invent new things. Mrs. Albright and Mrs. Hell wrote the grant to purchase the items such as Lego kits, tablets, and storage containers for student projects. And I just want to say how ingenious. Thank you to everybody for all your donations, because your donations have enhanced our student learning here at Elwood, and it is so very much appreciated, especially parents of junior high and high school kids who are taking the Regents and love all those Regents extra help classes. Thank you so much.
If you don't mind, I just wanted to take a quick moment to say something. I looked up on the website today under our Elwood Cares section about all the donations that have been given to this given by the community for this school year. And since the school year began, we have taken in over $250,000 from all of the organizations out there. And I just want to personally thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I understand what it is to volunteer endless hours and provide opportunities for the children in the school district. Hands down, amazing job this year. And I just want to give a little personal shout out to Lisa Palesi, who took over the Booster Club for me when I got elected to the school board, and you killed it this year. $73,000. The endowment gave a significant amount of money. The PTAs, kudos to you guys. Thank you so much.
Mr. Rivera, I'm sorry, I missed two people, but I just wanted to, I saw that. I missed the Suffolk Association of Business Officials who had donated, by Kerry's involvement, have donated $500. They had a $500 scholarship this year that was given to a graduating senior, and this donation is for next year. So thank you very much. Kerry, please extend our thanks to them. And also, I negated the James H. Boyd PTA for the $500 donation to the Maker Fair. So I apologize. Thank you.
No worries, I know it was a long list today, demonstrating the gratitude, we received, the benefit we received from the involvement and engagement from our community, as Mrs. Mamalito indicated, overwhelming support throughout the year, so thank you. With that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Bosser for the report from the superintendent of schools.
I will be extremely brief as we had such a long recognition and just inform the board and the community that our end of the year processes and festivities are going extremely well. We've had the opportunity to enjoy some really wonderful end of the year projects, assemblies, Flag Day events, and all of those things at the elementary and middle levels and at the high school. By all accounts, our final exams in our regions are going very smoothly. Despite some attempts at disruption by our fire alarm system, everything has gone according to Hoyle. So we are very happy, and we appreciate the efforts of our faculty, staff, and administration to make that happen. We are very much looking forward to two events that highlight the end of our year next week in the Boyd 5th grade moving up. That will take place here. And of course, the high school assembly graduation, which we look forward to the board joining us at.
Great, thank you, Dr. Bosser. With that, I will open it up to our residents' remarks. The board encourages all residents to attend its meetings, and this section of the agenda affords them the opportunity to speak. Persons wishing to speak should identify themselves and any organization they represent at the meeting. Comments should be kept as brief as possible and may not exceed 3 minutes, consistent with Board Policy 2351. Public discussion of matters related to staff, students, or others of which their reputations, privacy, or right to due process could in some way be violated is strictly prohibited. With that, I'll open it up to residents' remarks.
Hello, my name is Kathleen Coster. I actually was hoping to make these comments before all the guests had left, but I just spoke to one of the teachers whose comments, a story I'm going to share with you, and I have her permission to tell you this story. So as having had the privilege to be a substitute in Elwood for 7 years, I got to know a lot of teachers in a very intimate way. As a substitute, you get to see things that you might not see as a parent or a colleague. And one particular day, I was stopping in a 3rd grade classroom, and we were preparing to go to phys ed. It was the end of the day, and the phone rang. And I picked it up, and the other person on the other end didn't realize I was not the classroom teacher, and simply said, "Your package is ready at the cafeteria. Please come pick it up." So I said, I'll pick it up we're heading to phys ed. I'll pick it on my way over. So I took the class, and we headed down the hallway, and we went through the cafeteria, and I went in, and I said, I'm confused, what package is there? And one of the ladies that work in the cafeteria said, "Well, this is for Mrs. Tulskis. She pays every Friday to have meals prepared for a student in her class." And it was a large package that was ready to go. And so I said, "You know what, I'm going to bring the children to phys ed, and I'll come back and get them and put it in the classroom." And I don't think anyone ever knew that Mrs. Tulskis did this. The young lady that she did it for that I was familiar with was the youngest in a very long family that Mr. Tulskis had done for many years. So our teachers are very special, but I don't think most people know that. Mr. Tulskis and I were in the back crying about it. That's very special about Elwood. And I just wanted to share that.
Off the top that, are there any other residents' remarks? Okay, seeing none, I will turn it back to Dr. Bosser's presentation and discussion item.
Thank you, Mr. Lametta. This is not up for a vote this evening, but we do need to discuss some potential changes to the board calendar. When reviewing the activities calendar, it was noted that there were 2 conflicts in the schedule of meetings that we have already adopted. So for discussion tonight and based upon the input of the board, I will make recommendations for changes to the board meeting calendar at the reorg meeting. The first one is somewhat easy. We have a board work session, not a business meeting, but a work session scheduled for Thursday, October 12th. For the benefit of the community, the full board has agreed to participate in the New York State School Boards Association annual conference. That is a place where the board goes for additional training, learning how to better serve the public in their capacity as board members and professional development for themselves as leaders. That conference will take place in Lake Placid, New York this year, so we will not be able to be in attendance at a Thursday night board meeting as that is right in the middle of the conference. So my recommendation to the board for that meeting, and I will just need to know whether you're in agreement, is to just simply remove that meeting from the schedule as the board will be working together in a very meaningful capacity that day. Are we in agreement? Mm-hmm. Okay, then I'll make that change. The other one is a little more tricky, but it fast forwards all the way to our June meeting next year, where unbeknownst to us, that third Thursday of the month happened to land on the date that had already been scheduled as the high school senior prom. So I will raise the question to the board of whether or not our 5 board members see a conflict with having a board meeting the same night as the senior prom. Yes, okay, so I have a recommendation to change it. The 7th is identified as a work session, and my recommendation would be to simply change it to a business meeting rather than a work session. And if an additional meeting is needed for the month of June, we would schedule it for after student dismissal where there should be many fewer conflicts. Sounds reasonable? Okay, so it will be done. Thank you very much.
With that, we'll move to financial matters. The first order of business is the recommendation the board acknowledge receipt for the audit of the following: a treasurer's report for the month ended May 31st, 2017, revenue report through May 31st, 2017, cash flow report for general funds for the month of May 2017, budget status report through May 31st, 2017, trial balance report through May 31st, 2017, executive summary through May 31st, 2017, school lunch fund report for the month of May 2017, and claims auditor report for the month of May 2017. Do I have a motion to acknowledge receipt? Motion by Mrs. Amelito, second by Mrs. White. Questions or comments? Seeing none, those in favor, 5-0. Second financial matter item is the recommendation the board approve the budget transfers. Do I have a motion to approve those transfers? Motion by Mrs. Mamalito, second by Mr. Tomio. Questions or comments about budget transfers? Seeing none, those in favor, 5-0. In terms of action items, I believe we can take all the action items as a consent agenda, correct? With the following 3 walk-in items. We have 3 walk-in items. That would be item within personnel. That would be item P3, which is termination of a civil service employee, Ben Romanowski, position of custodial worker, Elwood John Glenn High School, effective date June 16, 2017. And item P8, which is 2 items under P8, A and B. A is the following resolution: be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Elwood Union Free School District hereby approves and ratifies a certain memorandum of agreement dated June 13, 2017 between the negotiating representatives of the Elwood Union Free School District and the negotiating representatives of the Elwood Paraprofessional Association, and further authorizes the board president to execute said agreement. And P8B, be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby employs Mary Lou Ginelli, effective July 1st, 2017, as district clerk for the 2017-18 school year at a rate of $40 per hour for the period from July 1, 2017 through October 30th, 2017. And be it further resolved that effective October 31st, 2017, the board hereby also employs Mary Lou Ginelli as superintendent secretary at an annual salary of $79,000 inclusive of her compensation for the district clerk position. And be it further resolved that the board president is authorized to execute a salary and benefits agreement for Ms. Ginelli as the superintendent secretary, which agreement has been reviewed by the Board of Ed. So those 2 walk-in items, do I have a motion to approve our action items?
Yes.
Number 3.
Yes. What about, do you want me to just? Okay, so the revision will be that we will take all the items as a consent with the carve out of action item 3, which is referencing the board adopting the following textbooks for health and curriculum. So can I have a motion for all items inclusive of the 3 walk-in items with the exclusion of item 3? Motion by Mrs. Mamalito, second by Mr. Tomio. Questions or comments about everything other than item 3? Seeing none. Those in favor? 5-0. Now we'll turn to action item 3, which is a recommendation that the board adopt the following textbooks for the health curriculum, a middle school textbook and a high school textbook. I will open it up for questions, comments relative to that before we proceed to the motion. Mrs. Weiss, do you want to start?
Yeah, I'm wondering if I can get maybe Mrs. Owen to maybe give some clarity as to the circumstances by which these books are being adopted and the validation that we are continuing with the current curriculum. And that these are just, just a little bit of explanation about how we're coming about to vote on these books.
Yes. The textbook selection process began with Dr. Shanahan and the health teachers identifying that the current textbook was very much out of date. One of them with a publication date of 2004. A number of steps were taken to identify potential new resources. Those include canvassing publishers, speaking with other directors of athletic and physical education, using professional listservs, and that identified 2 textbooks that were available. One of them was also already out of date, and however, it was still examined, and this one that we're bringing forward for recommendation, McGraw-Hill and Glencoe are owned by the same company, so that's why I'm referring to them singularly. This company describes their resource as one that's maintained in an up-to-date manner. One of the examples they give is when the Zika virus occurred, that they were able to do a new online module to help educate students. So what they do is they have some of the material in print, but they consider it a live document that they update through the website resources. And the middle school model that we're recommending would actually utilize our Chromebook so that the textbook would be almost entirely online. And there would be, however, 1 class set available in print. And the high school textbook would have, we would use the printed versions there because it'll be a number of years before all of the children in the health class of the high school have Chromebooks available. However, the teachers would have access to what is called Digital Advantage, which is a powerful suite of resources for students and for teachers, including activity trackers, and but more importantly, just very important information on the very wide number of topics covered in health. The team was led by Dr. Shanahan, Mr. Coletti was involved as well, and of course the content experts really are our health teachers who were evaluating the materials. They also had the publisher provide a presentation to go more in-depthly into the materials, and they examined very specific topics because that's really the best way to look through textbooks, is either if you're piloting them or if you're actually going through specific topics. The curriculum is not changing at this time. What's changing is we are looking for a more up-to-date resource that will also provide more consistent instruction, because how health has evolved in many places is that it's almost 100% reliant on people pulling materials from the website, and we really want to move in the direction of a consistent resource. As Mr. Shanahan explains it often to me, as a framework, that he's looking for a framework to really provide the resource. The curriculum is aligned to the health standards. We have New York State standards for health, and we have national health standards. And the textbook series itself is, and I feel like I'm parroting a little of Mr. Shanahan here as he explains it to me, it's really written for a national audience so that schools from any state can work with the textbook. what's everything that's in the textbook is not what we teach our curriculum, and we use the textbook as the resource for a lot of those materials. So at this point, the curriculum is remaining the same, and if we move forward with the adoption, there's training that has to occur with the textbook materials, and at some point, there could be curriculum rewriting as we then look at how we partner the resources to our current curriculum.
Thank you for providing that comprehensive context around this recommendation to adopt these textbooks. Are there further questions for any of the members of administration around this item?
No, I had the opportunity to look through on the online resource of the textbook, and what I did find, I know there was some concern in the community about the content on the sexual end of it, and what I found was looking through it that it was factually based. It gave definitions and descriptions without going into opinion or moral compass, which, is a question some people are concerned about. So, thank you, Maureen, for giving us that update. Thank you, Mr. Shanahan.
Great, and I think the key message is that this is not a shift in content or curriculum. This is merely updating textbooks so that we have better resources at the disposal of our health teachers to be able to convey the curriculum that we've consistently done in the past. So I applaud the work to do the due diligence to look at resources that can best position our teachers to do what they do best, which is educate. So with that additional context, do I have a motion to accept the recommendation that the board adopt the following textbooks? Motion by Mrs. Mamalito, second by Mrs. Freed. Questions, comments? Seeing none, those in favor? 5-0 for action item 3, which had been excluded from the consent agenda. With that, I'll turn it to Dr. Bossert to make some brief comments.
I would just like to thank the board for their support of the walk-in items, which included a memorandum of agreement with the Paraprofessionals Association, and would like to thank the leadership of that association for the very collaborative and friendly process that we had that drew to a very fast conclusion in a 3-year extension of their contract. And I would like to personally thank Mrs. Lockman for her direct involvement in those negotiations and bringing them to such a positive and expeditious conclusion. So thank you, Carrie, and thank you to the leadership of the Paraprofessionals Association. In addition, I would like to thank the board for their support of the walk-in personnel recommendation. As we learned during the recognition portion of tonight's meeting, Ms. Nancy Barkosi will be leaving the district on October 30th, and while she is very small, she leaves behind very large shoes to fill, and we are very hopeful that we have identified the candidate to do that. Ms. Mary Lou Ginelli is with us tonight. She'll be taking over as of July 1st in the district clerk position, which will allow for some meaningful overlap between her and Nancy, as it is a very big job with a very diverse set of expectations. Mary Lou comes to us by way of the Millbrook Central School District, where she has served for the last 8 years as administrative assistant to the superintendent as well as district clerk. So she brings with her a wealth of experience, a wealth of knowledge, and some wonderful references that we heard about her. They couldn't say enough kind words. So we're very happy for the board's support for having Mary Lou join the team on July 1st and help us out at the reorganizational meeting. And Mary Lou is here tonight. Mary Lou, did you have anything you wanted to share with the board? Probably, or our video camera will not hear you.
I want to thank Dr. Bossert and the Board of Education for the appointment this evening and the confidence that you placed in me for this really important role. And I really look forward to serving the faculty, the staff, the parents, and the students of the Elwood school community and also the greater Elwood community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome to Elwood. Dr. Bossert, are there any other items not listed on the agenda that we need to cover this evening?
No, sir.
Okay, with that, I will open up to our second president's remarks. Again, remarks are limited to items voted on and or discussed at this business meeting. Persons wishing to speak should identify themselves and any organization they represent at the meeting. Comments should be kept as brief as possible and may not exceed 3 minutes, consistent with Board Policy 2351. Public discussion of matters relating to staff, students, or others of which their reputations, privacy, or right to due process could be in some way violated is strictly prohibited. Are there any residents' remarks? What's that?
All of our items on the personnel agenda were approved this evening. Congratulations.
Thank you. With that, can I have a motion to adjourn the agenda? Motion by Mrs. Weiss. What's that? Motion, let me clarify, I apologize. Can I have a motion to end our public session and exit into executive session to discuss personnel matters? Motion by Mrs. Weiss, second by Mrs. Mamalito. Questions, comments? Being none, those in favor? 5-0.